In this episode of the JSP show, I'm going to get all freestyle on an image from the lounge. Hey guys, what's up? It's Johnny here and welcome to another episode of the JSP show. And this week I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm going to go all freestyle on an image from our brand new photography community called the Share, Inspire, Create Lounge. And more about that a bit later on. So first of all, Danny, lovely image. I love this image. It's a great composition and I think you've done a great job. Great light, great location, but there is a few things we can do to make this image pop and to tidy up a bit of the noise and a bit of, I'm not sure if this is a bit of polarization or something that's happened here in the top as well. So let's get into it, guys. So first of all, this is a JPEG, so I'm going to do the best I can with the resolution of this image. It should come out all right, and when we do a comparison, I'm sure we'll see a big difference in the couple of little changes I think I'm going to make. So first of all, guys, the first thing I see with this image, there's noise. Look at this noise, guys, and it looks like there might even be a bit of color noise there as well. So I am in Lightroom, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to jump down here to the details panel, and I'm going to have a play around. There's quite a bit of noise, so I'm going to crank this. I don't usually push it this hard. So let's see what 40 is going to do for us. And just let Lightroom catch up there. I'm going to turn that off and on. It's done an okay job, but let's play around with the color. The color noise we can push a bit harder. Let's see if that's going to help as well. And there's a balancing act here, guys. You know, when you've got a really noisy image, there is a balancing act between how much noise reduction you used and the amount of sharpening you can give your image. Otherwise, you'd start getting artifacting back with the sharpening. So let's crank that up. I'm going to go like crazy on this image. Let's see what that does. All right, so let's go before, after. Okay, so there's still a little bit there, but look at the difference when you look overall. Look at that, guys. So here we go, before, after. I'm happy with that. It has softened the image up a little bit. So if you find you are getting a bit of softness from your noise, play around with this detail slider. That tends to bring back a little bit of detail. Let's have a look and see what it does. Let's zoom into 100% there, let Lightroom catch up. So there is still a bit of cross-hatching and noise there, but that's okay. It's a lot better than what it was. So let's play with this detail slider. So if I turn that down, you can see the difference. If I turn that back up, it's going to bring back a bit of that detail. So just play around with that detail slider in your noise there. And you can do the same with the color. I don't know if there was too much color noise in that, but don't be afraid to try a bit of color noise if you think that's what's going on in your image as well. So, all right, I think that's pretty good. That's probably as best we can do with this one. That's still a big difference. Look at that, guys. Amazing. Alrighty, so now that's done. The next thing I can see, I'm going to go back to the basics panel, guys. There's a couple of things, you know, it's really, really dark in the foreground, and I'd love to see a bit more of that detail in the sand, and I'd also love to see a bit more detail in the shadows here around the boat. And we need to fix up this area of the sky too. I'd like to balance that blue tone out there a little bit. And we can do most of that in Lightroom. And there's also a couple of little distracting elements that I might throw over to Photoshop to clean those up as well. But the first thing I'm noticing, there's a brilliant bit of cross light coming across this way and shining on the side of the boat, which is gorgeous. I absolutely love that. And I think what we might do, we might intensify that a bit later. But the first thing I want to do, guys, look at the boat. It's yellowy greeny color. Okay, so I think the white balance on the boat might be off just a touch. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to crank up the temperature there to the yellow and make that whole bottom bit a bit more yellow because the sun is sort of cross-lit the scene there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the tint. I'm going to push it to the magenta just a touch because I think I've got a feeling that there's a bit too much green on that yellow of the boat there. So let's have a look. It's only a really slight change, guys. Let's have a look at the boat there. See, I think that's better. See, that's the before. That's the after. And obviously that's mixed in with a bit of the noise reduction there. But I think I like that white balance better. But as always, guys, with white balance, you know, it is personal preference, and it is something creative too when you're doing your post-processing is playing around with the white balance. Alrighty, let's have a look. So you can see there is a bit of clipping. If I click up here on this arrow, you can see those red plates there. That is a bit of clipping in the scene. So I'm going to click on that up there near the histogram, and I'm going to pull them highlights back just a touch. Let me pull them back. And once they're gone, once you don't see that red there, guys, there's no pure white in your scene. So it means that when you print this, you know, you're not going to have any little white areas there. Obviously, they're really hot, and that's okay because the sun is shining that way along there, and that's okay to have, hot spots there, but you want to have a little bit of detail in it. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I was after. You want to have a little bit of detail in your highlights. That's it. So which is what we've just done with that little highlight adjustment there. So I'll turn that one off. Now I want to fix up this bit of the screen, this bit up the top here, and I think let's just have a look. Like I said, I am going all freestyle in this image. I have seen this image before, and I thought of a couple of things. Yeah, okay, so we need to be careful. So look, when I open up those shadows there, guys, look at this really magenta tinge down here. Look what's in the shadows there, lurking in the shadows. So we need to be really careful of that. All right, so let's have a look. I'll turn those shadows down just a little bit, because I do like it dark in there. I don't mind that at all, actually. Just open them up just a touch, but I think. All right, so let's have a play around with the sky up here. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to drop a grading filter up the top there and see if I can fix up some of this darkness in the sky. And usually what I like to do when there's something like this, I try and fix it, and then what I might do is drop a grad straight down from the top and darken the sky again, to pull your eye into the boat. All right, let's have a look. Let's see what we can do here. So I am doing all this on the fly, guys, so it might take me a little bit more extra time than normal. I haven't pre-planned this. I just had a bit of an idea. I wanted to help Danny with this image. And I've dragged another one out there. Good job, Johnny. Good job, yo. All right, so let's have a look at that. So one thing you can do is play around with the shadows too, because don't be afraid to open up that. Oh, that's looking a lot better. Oh, yeah. So that's starting to balance out that sky a bit better now. I'm liking that. So let's have a look. Before, after, before, after. Okay, so we're starting to get that sky a bit balanced out, and I think that's fixed it okay there. It's not too bad. But I'm going to grab the brush tool. I just want to push that a little bit further. So I'm going to grab the brush tool. I'm going to open up the shadows, and I'm just going to fix up this. There we go. Just lighten that up just ever so much. Maybe just a touch of exposure. That's too much. So let's try 0.5. And you can see, guys, everything I'm doing is just little adjustments. And that's how I like to roll. Just a lot of little adjustments. They're going to add up to the final product. All right, that's way too much. All right, so I need to type that in. Let's reset that. Hey, please. All right, so that's getting better. That is getting better, guys. Let's have a look before, after, before, after, before, after. Before, after. I don't know. For some reason, I just love doing that. All right, that's looking pretty good. So let's see what happens if I grab another grad now. And what I want to do is I want to pull that sky down. Now I've sort of balanced out the sky, balanced out that bit of a, I don't know exactly the right word for that, but usually what happens when you polarize, you get that wicked blue blob. You get that wicked blue blob across the top of the screen. That's the technical term for it, by the way, blue blob. So I'm not sure if he used the polarizer there, but it looks like he may have. All right, so let's just play around with this grad. So what I like to do when I drop my grad on, guys, is I'm going to play around with its placement, and I think somewhere there is looking pretty good. And let's just play it. So another thing you can do, you can actually add tint into areas, and I think that's really exciting. So I'm just going to add a bit more blue and intensify that just a touch. Now you have to be careful because I can see a little bit of magenta like banding almost around the clouds up there when I added that blue tint. So I've just pulled the magenta down a little bit too and added a bit of green tint. Don't be afraid to play around with that. And this is all a creative outlet. You can do all these things and be as creative as you want with your post processing. I recommend you go hard at it. All right, so let's do that. Let's close that. Let's see how we've gone there. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. So that's before, after. So I can see something up here, and I wonder if it's related to this I put on earlier. Let's just have a look. Yeah, look at that. That's much better. So sometimes, you need to go back, and that's what's the beauty about Lightroom. It's a non-destructive editor. Sometimes you need to go back and change a few things. You need to go back and just move things around. And I just moved that back there. There was a little light spot at the top. And I think that's balanced it out a bit better there. Actually, I don't mind the little bit of light in here, guys. See, there's a little bit lighter here than there. That's okay. It's just not as dramatic as what it was before. It's like, you see here, it's like, whoops, cancel that. Before, you can see it's like really dramatically changing the sky there. And after, I've made it a little bit more subtle. So next thing I'm going to do, guys, is I want to grab a radial filter. And I think this is really going to help this out here. I'm going to drag that out, something like that. And remember, the center of the radial filter is going to be the most intense. I want to invert that and make sure it's feathered to somewhere around 70, 80, 90, around that. Now, what I want to do is I just want to turn this tint up just a touch here. I'm just going to play with this tint. And when I like to add a little bit of yellow, I like to add a little bit of magenta, just a little. All right, let's have a look at that. How are we going there? How are we going there? Now the boat looks way too yellow now. That's okay. Just let me get this in place. Let me worry about the sky. We'll come back to that boat. All right, how are we looking now? Let's have a look. Before, after. I think we're getting there. We're slowly building. So what have we done? We've reduced the noise. We've changed the color tone. We've fixed the sky up there. It's not so intense across the top, the light to dark area at the top. I think it looks a lot more subtle. And we've also added a bit more punch in here to the yellows, which I actually really like. I like that. So let's just check we haven't blown anything out. No, everything's looking good. Let's just bring those highlights down. Oh yeah, oh yeah, I'm liking that. Bring them highlights back just a touch there. All right, now how are we looking? Let's just check our white point and black point. So I'm gonna hold down the Option key. I'm gonna drag to the left. And this isn't always the rule of thumb, guys. And when you see a bit of black like that, when you see that black come up like that, that's because there's some true black in your image. And then the whites, let's just go the opposite way. And this is how you get the most contrast in your image, by setting your white and black. The whites, yeah, way too much there. Okay, so we'll pull that back and see we're on the edge of that there. See, whoop, too much. You don't want to see any of that, guys. Okay, you want to pull it right back just till it's all gone. All right, how are we looking? Before, after. Now, there seems to be a bit of a magenta cast there. Just something's a little bit too magenta-y for me. And let's just have a look at that. And it's probably here. I probably pushed that too hard. Let's push that back and then let's get in there, huh? I'm digging it, Danny. Good job, bro. I love this image. I just think it needed a little bit of a touch up. That's it. And I think we're getting there. Let's have a look here. Let's just zoom in and have a little look. It's going all right. I actually don't mind the detail, the sharpening or whatever you did first off is not too bad. And like I said, you don't want to sharpen any of this area. And here's, oh guys, got a tip for you when you're sharpening. Check this. This image actually doesn't need any sharpening, but if this was a raw file and I wanted to sharpen it, I'll show you what I do. So I crank this up, let's crank this to somewhere, 70, 80, something like that is always a good figure to start. But this masking tool, I absolutely love this. So I'd hold down the Option key, guys, and I'd drag that to the right. And everything that's turning black now isn't being sharpened. So everything that's white is sharpened. So I absolutely love that technique. And what it does, it keeps the sky, when you over sharpen these flat areas in the sky, you tend to get this artifacting, and it's not nice. I don't dig it at all. So it's a great way to get rid of it, and really quick in Lightroom with the Option key and the masking. I know I'm going through a lot here, but I might add it. Let's just have a little look here and see if it needs. See, it's way sharpened. So you watch what happens when I start to sharpen it. See, heaps of artifacting because it's already been sharpened. It is a JPEG, remember, guys. All right, so let's pull that out. I don't think we're going to worry about any sharpening for this one. And there is still a bit of noise there, but I think we've done a pretty good job with it. It's a big difference to where it was. One thing that would help is if it was shot a bit lower ISO next time, Danny, maybe on a tripod or with a bit lower ISO. So I think we're getting pretty close to being finished here in Lightroom. Let's just have a look. Like I said, I am freestyling here. I'm just freestyling with this image, having a bit of a play with it, things that I would normally look at, and I'm playing around with the vignette now, guys, and see if it needs it. Just playing around, playing with the feather, playing with the amount. I think I am going to add a little touch there, huh? So there you go. So I just added a little touch of vignette there. And you can see I've just 26, and you can play around with this midpoint. Oh, actually, I kind of like that, eh? Bring that midpoint in a bit. Ooh, it's nice. I usually like to feather it right out, guys. So you can see that's no feather, obviously a really hard edge. That's feather right out. Okay, so okay, we're getting somewhere now. Liking it. All right, so one thing I will do, I think I might do a global adjustment now, just a touch. I'm just going to bring up just a touch now. Oh yeah, now we're getting somewhere. Now we are getting somewhere. I'm loving that. So I just brought the exposure up just a touch, and you can see from the original image, the top right corner was a bit too bright, guys. You want to bring that down. Now your eye is just pounding straight onto that boat and seeing that orange tone out the background there. So I think that's pretty good. We've come a long way there. Now, obviously, when you're editing your images, guys, I highly recommend, and I do this, I'll go through, edit an image, and it might take me 10 or 15 minutes maximum to get my edit done to where I'm happy, and then I'll walk away. Sometimes I might leave it for a day even, an hour, a couple hours, but it's good to walk away from your image and then come back and have another look, because you'll often find little bits and pieces that, you thought, oh, what's that? I didn't see that. I should have fixed that. All right, so I am pretty happy with that. I am really happy with that. So I'm going to create a virtual copy here. So I'll right-click this image, and I'm going to go to create virtual copy. So what a virtual copy does, guys, all it does is just makes, like it says, a virtual copy. It doesn't physically make another image on your hard drive, so it's a great way to duplicate your images. So what I'm going to do, why I made a virtual copy, guys, is because I'm going to go into Photoshop now and just make a few quick changes, okay? And once you go into Photoshop from Lightroom and come back, you'll end up with a TIFF file, the way I've got my settings set, and you can't make any of these changes, okay? So if I ever want to go back, obviously I might have to do that Photoshop work again, but at least now I've got a virtual copy that I can always go back to and make some changes. I'm pretty happy with that. I think it's pretty good. I don't know if it's my screen or the boat, but it still looks a little bit green to me. What about you guys? I'm just going to get the brush tool and just see the whites are going a bit magenta-y now. And this is what you can do. I'm doing a localized temperature change here, guys. That's what I would call it, a localized temperature change here with the brush tool. And I'm just going to play with that. So I'll brush that area. If I press O, it's going to show me what I've just created. See, I've created that big mask there. That's okay. Actually, you know what I'm going to delete that. Like I said, guys, absolutely freestyling with this one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually create another radial filter. I'm going to put it over this boat here and drop that in like that. Probably to that side a bit more. And let's just play with the temperature. I'm just seeing if it needs to be warm. See, it does look green to me. Magenta. Oh, too much magenta. You can see it's wigging out on the whites at the back there. Let's have a look at that. What does that look like? And, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't mind that actually. Actually, don't mind that. Okay, so I've just taken a bit more of the. All that I've done is just dropped a radial filter on, added a bit of yellow tint, just a touch, and a bit more magenta tint, and that's sort of taken a bit more of that green out. You can see it is a bit greeny there, but I don't mind that. I like the boat popping. It looks good. You got to remember it is cross-lit there. So one thing we can do too, guys, if you wanted to play around this, not split toning, John, get it right in HSL here. If we go to saturation or hue, we can play around. Let's have a look. There's a localized target here too. Let's see. Green. It's sort of what it's doing. You can see it's grabbing the yellows and making them a bit more orange and not so green. The other thing we can do too is, I think we might pull the sat down. Oh yeah. Yeah, we're talking. Okay, that's looking better. So I've just taken the saturation out of the yellows there a little bit on that boat particularly, guys. But what it's done is actually taken the saturation out here as well. So what I'm going to do, and remember, this is the radial filter we used before that basically added a bit of yellow to the sky. So I'm just going to add that saturation back into up there because I actually want that. And I'm just going to pull it. I'm going to move it just up a bit away from that boat. All right. So I'm just going to add a touch more sats back and just a bit more yellow tint up there in the sky. Okay, where are we going? Ah, yeah. Now that's better. So guys, you can see it's just heaps of like little adjustments to get to the final product, and I think we're getting really close. The last thing I want to do, and let me quickly do this, is Command-Shift-E is going to throw me over to, that's export actually. Command-E is going to throw me into Photoshop. Just edit with the Lightroom adjustments there. There's a couple little things I want to clean up. Look, I could do it here in Lightroom, but honestly, you've got to be careful. The spot removal tool, sometimes it doesn't do a great job, and I like to throw over the Lightroom for this sometimes, and particularly here where you see you've got the texture in the sand and all that sort of stuff. So let's throw over the Lightroom. We're nearly done here, guys. I know this has been a long one, but I really wanted to help Danny out, and this is, hopefully, Danny, you get some good tips out of this. So Command-J, guys, is going to duplicate the layer. Always duplicate when you're in Photoshop. It is a destructive editor. All right, and we are zoomed in here, and you can see there is a bit of artifacting in that, guys. And remember, if this had been the raw file, I could have pulled that back a bit further. You've got to be really careful with pulling back your, what am I talking about? Noise. really be real careful getting rid of noise. Sometimes you can flatten it too much. So I didn't want to do that with this image, but you can see when I zoom out, it's made a huge difference. And we'll do the before and after a bit later on. All right, so I've just grabbed the spot removal tool here. Spot removal tool. I think I'm in Photoshop. So spot healing brush tool, Photoshop term. And I'm just there's just a couple little things here. Like, honestly, guys, you can get a bit picky with this stuff. There was just a couple of things that really stood out that I thought, oh, you know what? I really want to get rid of those because they're a little bit distracting off the top of the water there. And I'm going to hit the S key and jump over here to the clone stamp. Come on, Johnny, make it work, make it work. I'm forgetting my Photoshop terms. And guys, I like to turn the opacity down a bit and the flow. I like just to start less and then add more if you need it. So I'm going to hold down the Option key. I'm just going to clone from over here, guys. So I just want to clone out those couple of little bits here. And yet this is you might think, oh man, he's being picky about this stuff. But you know what? These are little things that actually make your final product look awesome. And I did a terrible job with that one. So, so let me undo that, guys. Let me undo that little bit of cloning there. What I want to do is keep the horizon straight at least. Would have been good, huh? All right, let me try that again, guys. Let me zoom in. All right, round 2. Option key. Click on there. And you want to line up that horizon basically with where the other one is. And once you get down, once you click, you're right. There we go. That's got it. Pick the winner. Just tiny little things, guys. Like, honestly, it's just the little things that you put all together that make a beautiful picture. You know, there's a couple other things I just missed there. I'm going to go back to the healing brush and just quickly get rid of that. There's one there, bubble there. I'll just have another go with those ones. And they're just little bits and pieces, you know. And can you hear the birds in the background? It's lovely. It's like we're actually there on the water. All right, guys. And that's looking pretty good. Pretty good. Oh, it might be still a bit dark up there. But anyway, that's okay. Let's have a look here. So, all right, I'm going to hit Command S. Let's throw that back into. And while it's loading back up, give it a sec. There she is. Come back in. And how are we looking there? Yeah, it might be just, see, and this is what I mean. Like, I took my eyes off the whole image and I've come back and I've seen that corner's a bit dark still. See, so I'm going to go back here and grab another radial filter. And what's happened is when we've added that vignette, it's really darkened that corner down again. So I'm just going to pull that back. I just want to lighten up that corner just a bit. And I can grab the radial filter, and there's 100 ways to do this, guys, but I just find this the easier. The radial filter, and it does a nice graduation there, and I think that's better. That's taking it back out again. Whoops, and I've just created another one and fully wigged it out. Let's grab this one. And you can see I'm moving it up and down, guys, moving it up and down until I find the right point. Okay, let's have a look. All right, so here's what we've got. Let's go back to this other one here, and I'm going to reset it. So it's back to the original. And guys, a lot of things with post-processing, it is a little bit subjective, okay? So sometimes, I'll go back to the library view here. Sometimes with your post-processing, you know, there might be things I've done that you like, and there might be things you think I could have done better or you prefer, and I'd love to hear about those. You know, and this is just a bit of feedback for Danny, a couple of things that I saw, particularly the noise and the coloration and the bit of the cross, the blue blob, as I call it, in the sky, which possibly could have been from a bit of polarisation or something like that. But yeah, so as you can see, guys, let's have a look. Let's go. That's what I come up with in the end, and that's after. So it's after, before. No, before, before, after, before, after. So there you go, guys. Something a little bit different there. Let me lights out. There you go, Danny. So that was my take on your image. Beautiful image, buddy. And yeah, absolutely epic. All right, guys, now it's time to tell you about this new community called the Sick Lounge, Share, Inspire, Create. So the URL is shareinspirecreate.com/lounge. Check out the page there. It tells you all about it. And basically, we're calling the photography learning revolution. So, and the main thing behind it, guys, is there's like $331 worth of courses there, and you can see the list of courses there. It's amazing. My Lightroom Traveler course is there, the Lightroom Essentials, and heaps of other courses here with Brent. Brent's put a heap of his very, very popular photography courses there, and you get all that for just $20 a month. It's just amazing. And what's going to happen, guys, is we're going to roll out new courses, and you're going to be drip-fed premium content, you know, week by week. And the other nice thing about it, you know, you can go to some of these other photography services and you can buy their courses and consume them. But the problem is there's no way to get feedback. What happens if you don't understand something? You know, you can watch the course again, you still don't understand it. So the beauty of what we've created in our community, and it's for all genres of photography, not just landscape, it's for portrait and travel. It's going to cover all genres. And the beautiful thing about it, guys, is it's a two-way interaction. So if you're having a trouble with something, you know, we can talk about it in the forum and get it back and forth till you can get the resolution, you know, find the answers and all the bit you don't understand. And when we create the courses, you know, we'll be able to tailor it to what you guys need, from what you need from the community, so that you can meet your photography goals. And you can see, look at all this stuff, you know, the questions you ask yourself, is this for you, you know? Do you want to improve your photography? Are you a beginner or a midi photography and want to learn? Are you frustrated and want to know how to create amazing images? Like, ask yourselves those questions, guys. And if that's you, I encourage you to check this out, because, you know, we're super excited about this, and we've got people in there already learning and loving the community, and we'd love to have you there too. All right, guys, that's it for this week. I know it's been a very long show, and I hope you stuck around and you got a few tips there. And I did go all freestyle on that image of Danny's, and I appreciate you letting me use it, Danny, and I hope I've given you a few tips, buddy. But, guys, if you've got any other feedback on the way I edited the image or a few other tips for Danny, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll be sure that he gets them and passes them on. And that's it for this week, guys. Check out the Sick Lounge at shareinspirecreate.com/lounge, and have a great week. Peace!